The best two drivers of 2025, before anyone gets offended that I excluded their driver or how about this driver, this doesn't mean these are the two best drivers for every person I've ever seen. What it does mean, these are the two drivers that by quite a long shot, I most frequently actually fit someone for they get their best performance with. It's what they end up actually purchasing. So from Ping, a G440 Max model, and from Titleist, a GT2 model. Now, if you are a higher spin player, this is probably not going to be the category of driver you look to. Both companies make a lower spin version, that's fine. What I want to show you is that the highest percentage of golfers from various handicaps, whether they were a lower swing speed player, whether they were a higher swing speed player, usually the commonality would be somebody of, let's say, somewhat moderate to lower dynamic loft. A super high loft person at impact for sure will need a lower spin model, but I'll show you what I like about them. I'll show you what I've seen in the hitting bay with real people, why it's worked well for them, and we'll compare some numbers. So we'll start with the Ping. Obviously, looks-wise, it's not going to be everyone's favorite. There are a lot of people that kind of have grown up using a Ping driver. This is familiar to them. There's other people that I kind of have to convince more with the performance. The head actual size, it does kind of look a bit bigger at address than the Titleist. Now, the one thing I would say a lot of people are saying to me lately, which I didn't expect, a lot of people are preferring the matte finish to the gloss this year. It's a pretty good one to start. And so we'll keep an eye on the numbers. Not a perfect strike there, kind of low in the heel. Did very well with spin. Does an extremely good job on directional correction for heel strikes. I left that one a shade open, still a pretty good drive. Surprisingly pretty good spin. So I'm generally not a fan of marketing claims. Most companies tend to exaggerate with what they say a driver will do. Ping claims that this driver is extremely good at maintaining consistency of spin across different strikes. I would agree. Hold that one a little bit. So normally that would kind of be my nightmare. Got the face a little shut. You can see I didn't get punished too bad. Really low, really heel. Again, keeping the spin under 3,000. Hit that one pretty well, but toey. So a bunch of different strikes. I haven't been given any nightmare spin rates yet. That's kind of an interesting one there. So the first one I haven't really hit thin. It was a little bit in the toe. I actually did push it a little bit. 2,500 spin. So it's very, very consistent. But this is the type of experience I get with a lot of people, especially someone like me that is a little bit more of like a volatile spin guy where I will catch that one that goes really off the planet low spin. This driver is very solid. A lot of the time, someone who has extremely low dynamic loft, this in the 12-degree head. So try to toe that one a little bit more. Again, it's very good results. Now, I towed it the same amount, but I hit it very thin, so it's very interesting. The last one wasn't nearly as thin, plus it wasn't as open. Look how consistent the spin rate is. I'm having a hard time showing you anything different. I apologize. This might be the driver I should be playing. Okay, I promise I'm going to tow this one. Come on. Making empty promises. Okay, took me long enough, but there you go. So there's a strike that is borderline missing the club, 32 millimeters in the toe. I mean, that ball shouldn't go forward, it shouldn't be in the air, and it surely should not be in the middle of the fairway, and don't call me Shirley. So no one does the, oh my God, my ball's gone strike better than Ping does. I will show you the bad heel strike player. It's pretty bad, very low in the heel. So here's the part that's interesting. Again, that bad of a strike. The spin rate at 3,000, it's not bad. I mean, it's really not bad. But again, the directional correction is crazy. And if you're striking at worse toe and worse heel than I'm showing you, I don't even have the weight in the heel or toe. This is just in the middle. So it's pretty amazing how it's able to correct for direction and keep the spin in that window. Yeah, that's another good one there. So aside from a tiny little bit of fade from the strike, ball speed's really good, spin is controlled. It's an awfully good driver. You know, initially it was like, okay, the person's hitting this ping well. Let's say maybe it's a touch spinny. Maybe they don't like the look of it. They're willing to trade off a bit of forgiveness. I'll grab a GT, let's hit some. What I've found over the course of months is that I'm seeing people make strikes with this that are also unbelievably bad, but then getting extremely good results. Also seeing some of the best ball speed across the entire face of pretty much any driver. I'll try to separate a little bit of why you might go GT versus ping. Some of it you'll see in the numbers, and then some of it I can kind of tell you what I've seen with real people. It's a good one to start. May have swung a touch faster. It's a pretty middled strike and gives me pretty perfect numbers. So again, that's why this is the driver that I've actually been using since it came out. You know, in the looks and feel and sound department, it's pretty rare that someone tells me they prefer the ping. It's not never, but usually people come in and they end up being surprised that I pull a GT out for them. I think a lot of people think I'm not good enough. There's no way there's a Titleist driver that would suit me. It's pretty good too. Did a little better with the swing speed there. I mean, it wasn't a perfect strike, a little bit high in the face. So that's something that both drivers do very well. If you are truly the low loft, high strike person, the ping will do a slightly better job, no doubt. The high lofted GT, like if you go all the way up to the 11, it does a very good job. I would say it's just one notch below in terms of spin retention on the low spin strikes. So the toe strikes, the high strikes. So what it would be more my first choice for is someone that tends to get a little bit thin or a little bit heel. You'll find the ball speed still stays up really well. The spin rate is really well controlled. Pretty balanced one there. So again, you can see from that heel strike to that middle strike, not that much of a difference. Not that much of a difference. We'll see more of the 167, 168s out of this. The ping was more around the 165 range. Again, I wouldn't pick a driver based on 1 or 2 miles an hour ball speed. I really wouldn't. But it's not my decision to make. That would be more something that the person would say. A lot of people do hit this GT, let's say at the same loft, a few yards further than the ping on average. We'll probably see that. And sometimes that sways them, but not always. And it's a really open face, kind of heely. I think we saw that one with the ping as well. Keeps it just under 3,000. Really, really good. I mean, it's better than I deserve there. Pretty middled horizontally, but high in the face. So you kind of get one of your longer drives of the day. Again, it does a really good job ball speed-wise. High in the face, these Titleist GTs, they don't change that much on the ball speed. We lose maybe just a tiny bit. It's a pretty ideal one there. Tiny bit thin. I think I said in another video, but just be aware the machine doesn't perfectly read club head speed between two different heads. I wouldn't say it's like to the absolute decimal perfect. So we don't go crazy reading into the efficiency, but as long as I see the club head speeds are fairly close and there's one that clearly has more ball speed, we can be reasonably certain it's a little bit of a faster driver. So let me try to do that horrible toe strike, see how it does compared to 440. That's pretty horrible. So it's not as horrible. I tried. 17 toe. A remarkable job. A remarkable job. I mean, that drive is frankly too good. It didn't even cross over the line. It didn't even get right of target. Let's try to hit that kind of low heely one. It's a a very poor attempt to heel it, just a good drive. Interesting. Interesting. So it's hard to know if I did a perfect job in terms of replicating the same face angle when I hit the heel strike with the ping. Technically, that wasn't even as bad as that one. It's faster, so it's coming out quicker, but I wouldn't say it's quite as consistent on the spin rate. So that's kind of what I was saying earlier. The ball speed retention across weird strikes on the Titleist is unreal. The spin retention on the ping is better though. Usually the really, really shut-face person does better with the ping on average because it kind of complements the worst things that happen to them best. I would say the slightly open face, maybe a bit higher dynamic loft guy, on average in here, that's the person I say kind of sneak their way towards the GT. They usually hit it a little bit further as well. It's a really good one there. Again, I did swing. I either swung a tiny bit faster, the machine read it a tiny bit faster. Either way, it's a quick ball speed. It's a very good spin rate for a bit of a low heel strike. You can kind of see why so frequently I have it down to these last two options with someone, and that's sort of we're about to pick between one, sort of near the end of a fit. Shaft option-wise, it's a bit of a tight race. It depends. If the person does well with ping stock shafts, I do like ping stock shafts. Technically, though, Titleist has a lot of options in their no upcharge range, so it would depend on your needs, but I would say option-wise, Titleist does a little bit better job. The adjustable hosels would be a little bit more person to person, so someone who wants the absolute flattest sitting driver, Ping obviously does that very well. What does that person need? Do they want the versatility? A GT2 I can set upright in some ways. That's good for some players that hit fades. Can't really do that with the Ping. Can't go crazy flat on the Titleist like I can with the Ping. So subtle differences between the two of them. They're two extremely good drivers. I'm definitely not saying they're the best for every single person, but the majority of people I see, they do leave with one of these two.